Hi, this is Matt Rickard, and congratulations on the purchase of your new SE Wildman. SE bikes come partially assembled from the factory, and I'm going to take you through the steps to get this thing rolling. Having an experienced bicycle mechanic to help build this is highly recommended, but it's not that difficult if you want to do it yourself.
To build your new bike, you'll need items like 10, 15, and 17 millimeter wrenches, metric Allen wrenches, pliers, cable cutters or scissors, grease, and lubricant. Your bike box may be sealed with glue, staples, or both. If yours came with staples, safely remove them with pliers and then throw the staples in the trash so they're out of your way. Remove the bike from the box. Ask a friend if you need help. Remove the packing material around the bike and use wire cutters or scissors to carefully cut any zip ties. Remove the 4 bolts from the top of the stem using an Allen wrench. Remove the 2 pinch bolts on the side of the stem. Add a dab of grease to the threads on each bolt before reinstalling them. Grease is super important, so don't skip it. Place the handlebar onto the stem while making sure it's facing the right direction and that the brake cable is routed correctly in front of the handlebars. Make sure that the clamping area of the handlebar is centered in the stem. Evenly tighten the grease bolts with an Allen wrench using a cross pattern to distribute pressure evenly. For the front to back angle of the handlebars, align them to the same angle as the forks. You can fine-tune the angle later, but this is a good starting point. Now it's time for the seat and post. Take a small dab of grease and wipe it around the inside of the seat tube. Remove the bolt in the seat clamp using an Allen wrench. Apply grease to those threads and then loosely thread the bolt back into the clamp. Look at the side of the seat post for a line indicating its minimum insertion point. Be sure that the post is inserted into the frame to that level or further. Align the seat with the frame and then tighten the seat clamp using an Allen wrench. Turn the bike upside down. Remove the spacer in the fork dropouts. Prepare to slide the axle into the fork dropouts. The safety washer should be on the outside of the forks so you can press their tabs into place. Tighten the axle nuts evenly on each side of the wheel using a 15 millimeter wrench, while making sure that the front wheel stays centered within the forks. Make sure the retention washer hook stays in the hole in the fork dropout when tightening the axle nut. Now get the pedals out of the parts box. You can identify the left and right pedals by the L and R on the ends of the pedal spindles. Add a dab of grease to the threads. Attach the pedals using your hand to turn the spindle toward the front of the bike. When you're sure that the threads are seated properly, then use a 15 millimeter wrench to tighten each pedal. The first step to attaching your brake cable is to release the straddle cable on the rear U-brake. Squeeze the brake arms together and the straddle cable should release, providing free cable movement. Align the slots in the barrel adjuster and the lock washer, then insert the cable into the hole on the bottom of the brake lever. Once the cable end is inserted properly, slide the cable into the lever and barrel adjuster slots. You can now rotate the barrel adjuster as needed. Now squeeze the brake arms together again and reinsert the straddle cable. Secure the brake cable to the frame with zip ties. Your brakes have been adjusted at the factory. However, you can make centering and spring tension adjustments on the brake arms. You should also make sure that the brake pads are centered and contacting the rim correctly. The pads should toe in, meaning that the front of the pad should contact the rim first when the brake is applied. However, brake adjustments are best handled by someone with experience. Straddle the bike and look down at the front wheel to see if it's in alignment with the handlebars. If needed, loosen the pinch bolts on the side of the stem to adjust the side-to-side angle of the handlebars. If the headset feels too tight or too loose, this can be adjusted by the bolts on the stem. Loosen the pinch bolts on the side of the stem and then use a compression bolt on the top of the stem to add or release tension. When you find the correct tension, tighten the pinch bolts to secure the stem. Be sure that your front wheel and handlebars stay in alignment during this process. Check that the bolts on the crank arms are tight. Applying grease to these bolts is also recommended. Adding a quality lubricant to the chain will help your bike run smoothly and cut down on unwanted noises. Wipe excess lube off using a dry rag. Both tires will need air. Use a pump to inflate them using the PSI guide on the tire sidewall. Don't use higher or lower air pressure than what's printed on the tire because using too much or too little can damage your tire and rim. Go over every nut and bolt on the bike one more time to make sure that they are all secure. For optimal performance, some riders take extra steps during assembly, including tightening spokes and greasing bearings. We'll cover these steps in another video. Now add the included safety items and go ride.